problem in the world in terms of food insecurity is that a lot of poor people just cannot afford to get food.
Please help me, or they'll do, please, we're going to die of hunger. I think most people in Malaysia don't realize how bad food security is. We're so used to having an abundance of food and making different food choices that we don't realize how difficult a struggle it is for the poor. We don't realize that if we don't come up with a proper way of planning and strategizing how food security and food ecosystem works, one day we are going to be totally dependent on importing food, which we cannot afford, and that we're going to be raising a lot of sick children.
First of all, could you do a short little introduction?
Okay, hi, my name is Man Kyong, and I, together with my wife, we started the Assembly Soup Kitchen. Yep. Okay, so TAS started in the middle of the pandemic. During that time, there were a lot of communities that were struggling because a lot of them lost their jobs and everything. And so a lot of them are struggling just to put like food on their table for themselves and their families. And because of that, it disables them for finding jobs, disables them for finding schools for their children to study in, because they're always worried just about putting food on the table. And so what we wanted to do was to provide food in a consistent way so that they are able to spend their time and effort on doing the things that will enable them to get out of this situation that they are in.
Like making people feel like they have home.
Okay, we always like to get the community involved. We have a lot of volunteers coming in. The one thing I realize is that we live in a sort of like a bubble whereby we are only mostly concerned about our own lives, our own things. But what we don't realize is that there is actually a lot of people outside that bubble that needs a lot of help. So I always try to encourage the community and volunteers to be more aware of the problems that these communities, these homeless communities, these refugee communities are facing, and to really be involved in so many ways. Not just providing food, providing help in so many ways, providing helping find them employment, helping their children, helping educate their children, and so on. So it starts with the awareness that there is there's a problem right now. When we first started the soup kitchen, we didn't know how everyone will respond, whether people will be helpful, whether people will want to donate, and so on. But after doing this for about 3 years, I am personally very encouraged by the fact that there were a lot of people of all communities, of all faiths, of all races. Everybody says, hey, we want to help, because they see it as a problem that they want to resolve, right? And so I'm very thankful for that. Personally, for myself, it was quite a journey for me as well. At first I thought, maybe a lot of the Malaysians don't really care. But as time went by, I'm quite encouraged to see so many people wanting to be involved and wanting to help. So personally for me, that has been my journey. And I think that would really help the message that we are trying to share. Most important. After a while, I think you pick up a lot of lessons along the way in regards to supporting and giving to the poorer incomes. We understand that how important it is to not just give food, but to build relationship with them. Because just to give food is it's very straightforward and easy. I can just give the food, I can just leave it at the doorstep and then just go off, But I think as time goes by, we realize that is not going to help them in the long run. And what we intend to do, or what we are doing, is that not just when we give food, the food is just the means for us to build a relationship with the community. And once that is established, we will continue to encourage them to send their children to school, encourage them to find jobs, stay out of trouble, live a honest life, maybe the men to be a good father to their family and so on. But that was only able to happen after you build that relationship with them. And how it of course all starts is that you provide them with something they need, and after a while they'll trust you, and then after that you can sort of speak into their lives. Yeah. So that's it.
Happy, heartbreaking.
Okay. Yeah, I'll share I guess mixed feelings. So during the pandemic, we were one of the organizations involved in giving out food to the lockdown areas. And so there are certain areas that because of the pandemic, they locked down the whole area. They put barbed wire, barbed fence around, and they didn't allow people out. And at the same time, we had to bring the food in. Okay, and so we had to go in with the full, PPE gear, with everything. And I think that really was the first time I'm walking into the low-cost areas and into the building and into their homes and everything. It's really eye-opening, because once you see the conditions and the environment they are living in, you really see how two things. One, how fortunate we are with what we have, and how difficult it is for them. For example, I walk into a flat, and it's a 3-bedroom flat, and it's shared by 3 families. Right, so there's maybe a small flat, 3 bedrooms, maybe 10 to 12 people living in one flat. So it's heartbreaking in that sense. But at the same time, it is also quite encouraging, because despite their circumstances, despite having to go through such difficulties, you can see them still willing and wanting to make things better for themselves and their family. We know that it is being appreciated, and we know that they are not just wasting what we are giving, but in a sense taking what we are giving and really building upon that for themselves and their families. Right. So yes, that's one of the personal stories that I think I can share regarding this booking. Okay, thank you.
So I learned that it is super hard. Like, volunteering is not easy. It costs a lot of things. It costs your energy and also your time. And people out there, they are less fortunate than us. And if we think that we are having more hardships, we need to rethink that lah. Because there are more people struggling out there. They don't even have food on their table, and also they don't even have access to education. So I think we need to be more grateful with the things that we have in our life.
Most importantly is that we need to be grateful of what we have. Like, if we think we don't have enough food to eat, and we're always wasting food on purpose like that, we need to think back seriously, because there are people out there who are very unfortunate about it. And that's one way I feel that's really effective to gain compassion among all of us together as a community.
I learned that there's a lot of people out there who is struggling more than us, so I feel like we should be grateful for what we have. And it feels good knowing that we can help the hungry people by preparing meals for them.
I always think that the journey is gonna be easier for today, just passing down the food and all that. But we have to chop all the vegetables, and it's kind of long process. So it makes me adore for their effort just to give food all to the refugee and all that.
Okay, so that is all from us. Bye.